Whenever we are going to study abroad, there are a lot of things that are going in the back of our minds. And one of the very specific thing that I think goes in the mind of each student is how to save as much money as possible or how to spend as little as possible. In this video, I will be sharing with you 5 tips to save money or spend as little as possible while being a student abroad. Hi there, I'm Nikita and welcome to another video on my channel. Let's begin with tip number 1, which is choose or find out or select a student apartment for your stay. The reason is very simple. Student apartments are relatively cheaper compared to private apartments, and student apartments often, at least in Europe, have a free Wi-Fi connection. The Wi-Fi connection is free because it's coming from university, so you do not end up paying 19 to 30 euros, which is an average internet fee for an average speed additional to your rent. Above that, student apartments have a lot of facilities like a basement full of washing machines where you can just go, dump your pile of clothes and wash in €1 or €1.20, which is also relatively cheaper. And since the machines are relatively huge, you can wash huge pile of clothes in one go. Cherry on top is that you have a possibility to rent certain devices. Like when I was a student in Germany, in my building, I had possibility to rent a vacuum cleaner. This means I never ever as a student owned a vacuum cleaner. Whenever I wanted to vacuum clean my room, I just went to the person who was responsible for it. I told him or her that I want vacuum cleaner tomorrow, and for an hour or two I could basically take the vacuum cleaner, borrow the vacuum cleaner, clean my apartment and give it back. And since vacuum cleaner is also something that is an expense, you can simply avoid spending that money. Second tip is cook your own meals. There are a lot of reasons behind cooking your own meals. One, it's healthy for you. You can choose what you want to cook. And second, it's healthy for your wallet, because if you would go to a canteen or a mensa to eat, the meal would be, let's say, $2, $3 or €2-3 at least per person. And the problem is not that it's too expensive, but if you calculate it over a period of time, like for 5 days a week, for 4 weeks, then you easily go up to €40 roughly. And when you are buying your groceries for 45 to 50 euros and above that, you are paying 45 to 50 euros to just eat in the canteen, then it probably doesn't make sense, because you can save this extra money that you are spending on canteen eating and do something else with it. I'm not saying that you should not eat outside at all. It's just that if you start eating outside frequently, then you easily lose the count of how much money is basically being spent, and later you will realize that it's doing good for your body, nor it's doing good to your wallet. So cooking your own meals is one thing. I personally I have always been biased, so I've always loved cooking my own meals, and I rarely go to restaurants. I really also went to restaurants when I was a student, but it definitely had a plus point for me because I then saved a lot of money. And since I also did not drink much like alcohol or beer or wine, I really had spent too little or relatively a small amount of money. Third tip is buy secondhand items. It is not only good for the environment, but again, it is good for your pocket, because there are items like vacuum cleaner, mobile phones, laptops or washing machines. If in case you are not staying in a student apartment, then you need not to buy everything new, because things are expensive. Buying a washing machine or a mobile phone or a router or like a bed or a wardrobe or a lamp, don't buy these things new, because especially in Germany where I studied, things are really expensive, and the gadgets or like devices are indeed expensive. And all these deals where you say, okay, there's a Black Friday deal or there's a Saturn deal or MediaMarkt deal, they're really, even if they're 50% off, they will cost you a huge amount of money. So if you're a student and if you want to save some money, then just look for secondhand items. You can easily go on eBay and find for secondhand items, Or you can go to Facebook. There are lots of students moving here and there, or families moving back to their country or moving to a new country and who are looking for selling their items for secondhand. Go and buy those secondhand items. In Germany, there are also markets called Flohmarkt. They're specifically held for secondhand items. So keep your eyes open and keep online information sources open. Whenever there's a Flohmarkt, go check those things out. And if they are suiting you, take secondhand items. This will save you a huge deal of money. Tip number 4, travel a lot, no matter what. Travel and make the best use of your time and money. But when you're traveling, often try to stay at Airbnbs or student hostels. That is one of the best things you can do. The reason why it's good to stay in an Airbnb is because you can cook your own meal. You can just go to a nearby supermarket, buy yourself noodles, rice, lentils, or anything, and you can cook your own meals. Plus, Airbnbs are cheaper. Plus, if you are going in a group, it's even more cheaper because you can divide the money. Or you can stay at a student hostel. It's like there's a big hall and lots of students are sleeping. Not that they're sleeping right next to each other, but it's like relatively huge rooms and you have your own bed. You stay there, and some of the hostels also provide breakfast. So it is also cheaper compared to staying in hotels. So don't forget to travel. But if you travel, maybe you can stay in Airbnbs or hostels and see how much money you save. Prepare your medicine bag already back in India. Medicines are hell expensive, especially in Germany. Moreover, in Germany, they don't give you medicines just like that. There are so many medicines that you can easily get in India, but here you have to go to a doctor, and the doctor has to write you a prescription, which is also making sense. It is like much more better than just being able to access a medicine without a prescription, but they are really expensive. Like a tiny packet of paracetamol or ibuprofen will cost you 2 to 5 euros. And if you would buy back in India, it would be really much more cheaper. I'm not saying you should start treating your own self. There are health insurances, and you should definitely visit a doctor when you think you don't really know what's going on with your body. But whenever there are regular things, like for females, there are period cramps, pains, and fever and vomiting, and you know that this is going to happen for a couple of days and I can just take my own medicine like paracetamol or ibuprofen, then you don't really have to go to a doctor and buy new ones. So if it's possible, prepare a nice medicine bag back at home and make sure you always have a proper ration of medicine. I hope you found these points useful. Let me know if you're practicing already some of these, and if you aren't, and if you're practicing something else to save money, then also let me know, because I'm excited always. What are you guys doing to save money? Because these were my 5 tips that I actually did, and they indeed helped me save a lot of money, or I would say spend as little as possible. At the end of the day, you don't have to become a miser, but slightly wiser. Much love.